My dreams started talking to me, and they taught me how to lucid dream. Right, now I know how that sounds. It sounds like the kind of thing you'd hear from a barefoot hippie at a music festival, or someone who's been reading too many New Age blogs. But bear with me, I'm not talking about magical, mystical dream guides. This is something real. This is something hidden in plain sight. It's been in every single dream you've had, but you've probably not noticed it. And once I did, it changed how I lucid dream. In fact, it might be the most overlooked secret on getting lucid. And for some reason, no one's talking about it. The problem with dreams. Okay, think about this for a moment. When was the last time you really noticed the sounds around you? I'm not talking about the last time some big noise startled you or you were shocked, but when you really noticed the ambient sounds of your environment. And the chances are you probably haven't, because humans are predominantly visual creatures. And the thing is, evolution shaped us that way. It was vital for us to notice the tiger hiding in the bushes, and learning how to read faces or scanning the horizon for danger or opportunity. And it really shows our entire culture is built around sight. Films, photography, social media, they're all image-based. Even the way we talk about memory and awareness is visual. I saw it with my own eyes. And it's exactly the same when it comes to lucid dreams. Think about the techniques you use. Reality checks, dream journals, dream signs. What do they all have in common? They're about the things you see. And I'm willing to bet if you were to grab your dream journal right now, most of the things you've recorded will be visual or emotional, things you've seen or things you've felt. But the same is true with our daytime practice. When we're performing reality checks, we tend to look out at the world around us. Does it make sense? Is that clock behaving as it should do? Do I have 5 fingers? But here's the thing. Are your dreams silent? And the answer to that is weird, because it's yes and no, because we all remember sounds from our dreams, but when you think about it, can you remember ongoing sound in your dream space? In waking life, there's always a soundtrack, whether it's the murmuring of a computer fan or the chirping of the birds outside. Even if you're not giving them your attention, they're there. But in dreams, the only thing that really exists are the things you're giving your attention to, which means that unless you're thinking about sound in your dreams, you're essentially living in a silent movie. The sound of one hand clapping. So you've all heard the Zen riddle, what is the sound of one hand clapping? But that takes on a new meaning when you transfer it into dream space. What is the sound of the ocean in a dream when you're not giving it your attention? And the answer is, there is no sound. Or imagine this, you're having a dream that you're with a friend in a cafe having a conversation. And you can understand everything they're saying, you can hear the words they're saying, and you can hear the noise of the other customers around you. What are those customers talking about? Are they making real words with their dream mouths? Have you ever given it any attention? Because we're used to living in an objective world where things happen around us that we have no control over, we carry that thought through into the dream world. So we make an assumption about the world around us. If we're in a dream cafe and there's the noise of the crowd, we assume that that noise makes sense. It would do in waking life. It would be lots of independent, real conversations. But in dream space, these dreamlings, these dream characters, are not having conversations. You're just assuming that the noises they're making make sense. And when you give it your attention, suddenly things get interesting. Attention and assumptions. Dreams are built from assumption and attention, and we give most of our attention to our visual sense. And because most of our attention is on the visual, our brain is putting most of its processing on generating quality visual images, a realistic world to look at. But the things we're not giving our attention to get filled in with assumption, with placeholders. And this is one of the primary ways in which the dream world differs from waking life. Waking life is objective. Your brain makes assumptions about the environment, but those assumptions get overridden when you go and investigate the environment. So for example, if I hear a crash outside of my door right now, I might assume that Chickon, my cat, has knocked something over. When I go and look and investigate, I might find that the postman has been and some letters have dropped through the letterbox. Or in other words, objective reality is calling the shots, and whilst our brain might make assumptions, those will be overridden by objective reality. But there is no objective reality in the dream world. There is only what you're giving your attention to at any given moment, and the things on the periphery of your attention are assumptions based on nothing more than the whims of the mind. Or in simple terms, because we give most of our attention to the visual, the auditory element of a dream is mostly assumption, mostly placeholder. It's not till you turn your attention to it that it starts to be more high definition. And what this means for lucid dreamers is the glitches happen in the assumptions. That's where the inconsistency is, the biggest dream signs of all. Listening to your dreams. So, once you start listening to your dreams will talk to you. And they won't just be talking, they will be shouting at you. This is a dream right now. Notice. If you're in a dream cafe and you start to earwag on the conversations around you, you'll notice they're mostly gibberish, cueing you to realize that it's a dream. Or if you're walking along a dream beach and you stop and think for a moment, can I even hear the sea? For a moment you might realize it's not there at all until your brain fills in the gap. And these are just two really simple examples, the tip of the iceberg. When you explore this further, when you start giving your attention to the auditory world around you, you'll transform how you lucid dream. So here's a simple technique to teach you how to listen to your dreams. The auditory technique. Step 1, auditory mindfulness. So throughout your day, and ideally multiple times a day at random times, stop and listen to the world around you. Really give your full attention to the auditory landscape. Close your eyes if it helps. And just ask yourself simple questions. Firstly, what can I hear? Does what I can hear make sense? Where are these noises coming from? Is there anything subtle that I'm missing? And you'll notice there are layers and layers of sound, so focus in on the individual layers and try to make sense of them. If you can hear a bird cheeping, try and think, what kind of bird would that be? Does that bird make sense here? Or if you can hear a distant conversation, try to listen in. Does the conversation make sense? The point here is to become mindful of something you normally don't give your attention to notice what the auditory landscape of your world is like. And as you put this into practice, you'll start to realize that you've been missing an entire universe of sensory experience. Step 2, auditory reality checks. So now that you're being more mindful of the sounds around you, when you hear a strange sound, when a sound surprises you, or even when there's an unusual silence, use that as a cue to trigger a reality check. But that doesn't mean suddenly ignore the sound and perform a nose pinch check. Instead, use the sound as part of your reality check. Does it make sense? Is it consistent with my environment? Really analyze where it's coming from, how it makes you feel, whether it's logical. It's part of that reality check. And what we're doing here is we're focusing critical metacognition on the auditory sense. Step 3, dream journal upgrade. So, tomorrow morning when you're writing in your dream journal, change how you write about your dreams. Don't just focus on your feelings and what you saw. Start to record any auditory elements, any sounds that you heard in the dreams, whether that's parts of conversation, any gibberish, any strange noises, any lack of noises. Include these in your dream journal. And soon you'll start to notice just how many peculiarities there are to the auditory landscape of the dream world. Your dreams have been talking to you all this time, telling you that you're dreaming, you've just not been giving it your attention. Step 4, set an intention. So this is pretty basic stuff, but as you're falling asleep tonight, tell yourself you're going to be mindful of sounds. You're going to notice sounds. You're going to be alert for sounds. It's as simple as that. Becoming a lucid dreamer is like becoming an interdimensional detective. You don't just take things on face value. You don't just look at what's before your eyes. you'll realize there are subtleties, there are different senses, different things you should give your attention to, clues that might make you realize that you're dreaming that are hiding in plain sight. Or maybe that should have been plain sound. But either way, becoming a lucid dreamer requires you to open your mind and expand beyond your usual boundaries. And one way you can do that is to watch one of the videos on the screen right now and to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you there.